All right, guys, I am super excited for this episode. Not only do I consider this person a friend, a mentor, but he was also the first coach that I hired as soon as I went full time in the business in 2017, and we're still together to this day. So, Chadi Bazzi is a husband, a dad, an entrepreneur, a master coach, an NLP practitioner, host of the Top Listing Agent podcast and academy. And Shadi, when I think about you, I think about someone that's powerful, someone that's focused, and really someone that's on a mission to serve others. So thank you so much for being on. And would you please tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Well, Greg, I just want to say I am like so honored to be here, and I am like so proud as a coach to be on your show. We started working with each other way many years ago, and I got to tell you, like, because I talk to a lot of people. Before I talk about me, I want to talk about you, because I talk to a lot of people from all over the country, and no judgment ever. Is just that there's certain people that are going to go the extra mile and they're going to reach that destination faster than other people, and you were one of those people that I identified right away. I want to work with this guy. Yeah, he wants to work with me, but I want to work with this guy because I see him going places, and here we are, you having your own podcast and having done many mega things. My friend, you're calling me a powerful man of inspiration. I got to say that you are an incredible, powerful man of inspiration. So it's an
That
honor.
means a lot, man.
Yeah. So it's an honor for me, to share this virtual stage with you. A little bit about me without going too far back into history. I was this guy that grew up in the suburbs of Detroit, a very shy introvert, one that never really started trouble, but always attracted trouble. I have no idea how. Don't ask me, but that was the case. Got involved in real estate in around 1997, right around the time that my son was born, and did pretty good pretty quick in that marketplace. However, I was challenged with, wanting to make a lot of money. I want to make like $100,000 a year back then, and making $100,000 a year required selling over 100 transactions because of the size of the transaction,
Wow.
this little. And I decided in 1999, when my son was 2 years old, to go get my college degree. And not, I didn't mean going back to college or anything like that. I decided to get my college degree from a gentleman by the name of Mike Ferry, the leading real estate authority at that time. So I sold my house in Dearborn, Michigan, drove all the way to California with a big map because we had no navigation system then. My son was 2 years old. We had to leave him with his grandparents to make that transition. And out of all places, where do I move to? Newport Beach, California. That
And you showed up in like a Ford Escort, right?
a Ford Focus, in a
There
Ford.
you go.
Yeah. So I've never been to California before in my life. Went and interviewed with, the ferries. I got hired on the spot. Had a very small salary, which was just enough to cover the rent. But it didn't matter. I had a dream, and I had the determination of I ain't going back the same guy no more. And instantly became the number one sales representative in that company. Got to the point to where I was running and training in the internal one-on-one coaching department. Got back into real estate in 2004, knocked it out the park right away. We're talking about like six figures in the first 30 days worth of open escrows and listings and all that good stuff. Took my first listing in the first 24 hours. Not a bragging right. Just want to tell everybody that anyone can do it as long as you have the right mindset, the right skill set, and using the right systems. So, more about that, the long resume. Got back into coaching with Tom Ferry back in, I think, 2005, 2006, something like that. Did a lot of things underneath that umbrella. In 2011, I decided to start the Top Listing Agent Academy because I wanted to do things more in a personal way. And that's what we've been doing ever since. So I'm very blessed.
And you started that in 2007. Wow.
Yeah, Top Listing Agent, we started in 2011.
Okay, so that's actually a great segue, and that was an awesome introduction. So th those of you guys that are listening, I think it's a good suggestion to take out a notebook and a pen because you're about to get taken to school by this man. So right now we're going through a pretty heavy changing market shift, transition, recession. Some people are calling it a depression, right? All this kind of crazy stuff, right? You've clearly been through it before and you've thrived. You've built an empire. You've built a big coaching business. And I know that you also coach countless people to get through that, right? So let's talk to those people right now, regardless of where they're at in their current journey, right? I know that there's going to be people that are listening to this right now that need help, right? They're at a crossroads where they have to make a decision, or maybe they're doing okay, but they want to do much better. How do you seize the opportunity in the market that we're in right now?
Before I talk about seizing the opportunity to take advantage of all the things that are external to us, in order for us to really capture that, we first have to seize the opportunity to work on ourselves, to be equipped, to be ready for the next thriving moment, which could be a thriving moment for you. Well, it's going to be a survival moment for a lot of people. So what I'm going to say is this, because people ask me this question all day, every single day, from all over the country. First, I'm going to say is fear none. Fear none.
I love
Fear
that.
the people that fear what is going to happen are the people that don't have a strong enough belief in themselves and their capabilities. So are we going to have a financial meltdown, an economic turmoil, a depression, a recession? I say, who cares? Who cares? You need to work on you becoming bulletproof, meaning it doesn't
Amen.
matter if what's happening out there. What matters more is what's happening right here and right here. And as long as you connect these two things together, you'll figure out the rest. You'll figure out the rest. However, I am going to give a couple of little tidbits for people to prepare for that time, which that time is going to come sooner than later.
Please.
Number one, number one, okay, get your mind right. Okay. Number two, get your skill right. Okay. Number three, get your money right in this order. Because without the mind and the skill, you ain't going to get the money. Now, when I say get the money right, what am I talking about? Okay. I'm going to talk about not being frugal, and I'm not going to talk about like you depriving yourself of anything, that you desire. What I'm going to do is say to you is get your money right, simply meaning no more foolish spendings. No more foolish spendings. Okay, whatever that means for you. If you already have a not like, for me specifically, I don't think about do I want A or B. I just do both. And if I decide I only want one, I return the other thing, whatever it might be. Okay, but I've earned that. If you're
Yes.
not in that place, don't do that stuff. And I want you, when you think about your money, I want you to think about, is this something I need or is this something I want? Look, get rid of all your wants right now. Put them on hold, because whatever it is that you want, you're going to be able to get it a lot cheaper later on, because everybody's going to want to get rid of it to be able to survive. And you'll be able to buy it for a fraction of the cost and use the remainder of that money to invest and capture opportunities. So that's simply it. Fear none, and just do the work, and you'll be a-okay.
All right, I want to dig and go a little bit deeper on the first thing that you mentioned about getting your mind right. So I can recall this vividly. I can actually recall exactly where I was sitting in the car when I took our first coaching call, and one of my first assignments was to go out and buy a spiral bound notebook and go ahead and start to journal, right? And in the beginning, when you told me to start the journal, and I went home, I talked to my wife. I'm like, I can't believe this guy wants me to start the journal. That's my first action item that he's giving me, and I'm paying him, whatever the case may be, $1,000 or whatever at the time. And I remember resisting it at first, and then I got to the point of just giving in and just letting go. And when I did that, my whole world started to change, right? And I've preached this to people for the last 5 or 6 years, and I know countless people that have went along for the ride and that have bought into the mindset, the vision, the woo-woo, whatever you want to call it, right? I believe it's the ticket to success is by focusing on the mind, especially in the beginning of the day, right? But not everybody is there right now. For example, I just recruited a guy into our company who I asked him, what's your mindset practice, right? What do you do for personal development? And he looked at me like I had two heads, right? And that's okay to be in that place right now because you have to be exposed to people that are operating at that level, right? I can also recall it's kind of like the first Tony Robbins event that I went to, and I went to Unleash the Power Within, and it was an awakening, right? I became a different version of myself, and still to this day, I can tap into that via an anchor or a song. I can actually tell you the song. It's Empire of the Sun Alive. So if you want to listen to an incredible song to get pumped up, it's Empire of the Sun Alive. But back to where I was going with that is, where do you start people that don't have the training, or maybe they grew up in a really jacked up household where there's limiting beliefs? It's blue collar. It's nothing against blue collar at all. Both of my parents were blue collar. But you're not taught to go out and be more, right?
Right.
And you know that you're destined to be more. So talk to that person right now. Give them a few tips on how to start off on that path to
You know,
mastery.
I'm going to do that, and I'm actually going to begin them in a place to where it was part of your beginning, maybe not step number one, but more like step number two. So look, it doesn't matter. I'm going to give you a couple of steps, and I want you to do all of them, okay?
Please.
I want you to right now, if you're watching this video and or listening to this podcast, I want you to answer this question with a yes or a no. And the question is, do you know who Mr. Beast is? Do you know who Mr. Beast is? Do you know who Mr. Beast is, Greg?
Yes.
Okay. Who doesn't, underneath the moon and the stars, doesn't know who Mr. Beast? Now, what I love about Mr. Beast is I recently discovered part of his story. You know, when he wanted to become a YouTuber, that was his dream. I want to become a YouTuber. And he would have a hard time getting subscribers and all that stuff. But this guy, I don't know if somebody coached him on doing this or not. I wish it was me. What he did is he actually recorded 3 videos sitting in his bedroom. And the first video was, you know, his future self talking to him 3 months from the recording. The second video is him 6 months into the future talking to himself. And the final one was like a year or 2 into the future talking to himself, hoping and praying, you know, and projecting that he's going to have, you know, I don't know, I think it was like 100,000 or 1 million subscribers. Go to his channel. Homeboy gets 5, 6, and 700 million views every time he publishes a video. Now, the crazy part, what he did with those videos, Greg, is he uploaded them onto YouTube. And if you know anything about uploading things to YouTube, you can schedule when it is supposed to be released. He scheduled one for 3 months, one for 6 months, and I think one for was a year or 2 into the future. You can go and watch those videos and see who he was and who he is right now, and the power of really identifying where you want to be in the future, the targets you want to hit. And then once you do that, I mean, you can do that by simply answering the question, if life was as good as it could possibly be a year from now, 2 years from now, or three years from now, right now, what would it look like? What would it look like in the area of my physicality, my mentality, my spirituality, my relationships, my family, my community, my experiences, my business, my finances, my investments, etc., etc., etc. And then speak to yourself, write a letter to yourself, okay, or do a video, better yet, okay, talking to yourself, you know, you know, like pretend it's already that time has come, and you're telling the story. And then take it a step further here and forward. Read that vision every single day. And then take it a step further and start practicing empathy. And what I mean by empathy is being empathetic to that future version of you. You not doing the things that you're like, you just think about today. Okay, well, I don't feel like doing this today. But why don't you in that moment think about how is that going to impact that future person? And being empathetic to that person as you are to other people whom you most likely don't even know. So this is a very, very deep and very powerful exercise that most people are going to resist doing. Now, you mentioned the word resistance earlier when I said, hey, thank you for the money. Now go freaking damn journal. You went and told your wife, like, this freaking damn guy wants me to freaking damn journal. See, you are experiencing something called resistance, okay, which is
Yeah.
something people experience each and every single day. But what happened, who you are today, is a byproduct of you facing that resistance and doing the freaking damn work no matter what. So my famous quote for that is this: everything you want is on the other side of that which you resist. Take it a step further right now. Make a list. What am I resisting? What will overcoming that resistance do for me? Like, face it, like if I overcame this resistance, what will that mean for me, my family, those who rely on me emotionally, physically, and financially? What will that do for me? And then be real, man. And freaking damn just do the freaking damn work. You know what the hardest step is? The first step. And you know
Yes.
exactly what I'm talking about. I don't feel like working out, but you push yourself to the gym. You be like, thank God I worked out today. That felt so freaking damn good.
Yeah. You get the pump.
Yep.
Yeah.
Common.
And even right now, this is it's so timely, right? Because so many agents that I talk to, even within or outside of the brokerage, that are struggling, not hitting the goals, wondering what tomorrow's going to look like, even if they just took a first step and made 10 phone calls a day, they could change their entire life off of 10 phone calls. And I
Yep.
remember when we started together, my job was to make 20 contacts a day or I couldn't go home, right? And I know 20 sounds like a lot to people, but even if you made 10 a day, you can prospect your way out of anything. I am
Yep.
a believer in that. I'm a believer in the power of prospecting, the power of getting on the phone with people. And it's just such an easy tool. We just need people to take the first step.
Yeah, talk
Um,
about that first step. Listen to this, Greg. Our mutual friend Mike Smuts, okay? He's,
yes.
personal, coaching client of mine in our listings on demand training. When he got involved in coaching, I mean, he like literally like no, like we had to freaking damn get creative to make it work. Okay.
Yeah.
We've been working together for 5 months. The last 3 months, he's the top listing agent in the freaking damn company. What did we do? We said, Mike, you got to get your mind right. I want you to freaking damn journal. I want you to, write out your vision and build a relationship with that future self. Mike, I need you to develop the skills. Mike, I need you to freaking, bro, he has not missed his numbers, not even one day in the last, like we're tracking something right now in the last 45 days. Homeboy has not missed one contact. And that's why he's producing at the level that he's.
And he's in a big office. I know the office that he's in, and they probably have somewhere between 150 to 175 agents. So he's not in an office with 7 agents. That just shows you the power of the mind and the power of really committing to success and yourself and your future self. So that's incredible, man. All right, let's talk to one other person right now, right? Let's talk to the person that's already made the decision that they want more, right? They know I'm not going to call them gifted, but I'm going to call them that they have a future vision power, right? Like I humbly feel like I'm blessed with that mindset that I can see where I'm going to go. And it's taken me a long time to get there. But even now, if I can quiet my mind enough, I can actually start to look out and I can see what it's going to look like, especially at a park after a workout or something like that, right? And that may sound crazy to some people, but I promise you, like Andy Frisella, the guy that invented 75 Hard, he talks about this a lot. The power of visualization, right? And if you focus on that, I believe that you can adopt that mind training or whatever you want to call it. For you, it's probably NLP stuff. So talk to me about what is the opportunity right now, because there's so many people that have gotten out of the business or that will get out of the business. For the people that are on the verge of breakthrough, where can they grow this thing to, and how do you build an empire in the next 3 to 5 years?
Well,
Because I know we have empire builders that are going to listen to this call.
right. So basically, I'm just gonna, stay focused on building your real estate empire, and from there you build whatever other
Of
bigger,
course.
then combine them together and do all that good stuff. what I see possible for every single person in the coming, let's say, months and in years is going to be a minimum. There's going to be a lot more people doing 100 transactions or more per year. Okay, 100 or more transactions per year. So is it going to be easier to do it many months from now or a year from now? Absolutely, 100%. The reason being is, number one, I think the latest statistic we saw is, I think it was like last month, 60,000 real estate agents already exited the business.
Mm-hmm.
60,000 real estate agents exited the business. What does that mean? 60,000 extra opportunities.
Amen.
60,000 extra opportunities. Whatever that, that little fraction of it is in your marketplace, that's an added opportunity for you. Now, where I believe every single person is going to capture that big amount of business from has to be from expired listings. Like, I'm going all in with all my clients and saying expired listings is where it's at. Because here's one thing that we've already identified statistically, Greg. Over 50% of expired listings list in the next 3 days. Over 50% of
Wow.
today's expireds are going to relist today, tomorrow, or the day after. What does that mean? That means you could talk to somebody today and have a listing this evening, or tomorrow, or the day after. But here's another thing that we also uncovered is the other 22% are going to relist with another agent sometime in the next 90 days.
Wow.
So you're also like 90, if you did this for one 90 days, 90 day cycle straight, not only are you going to take listings here and there in the next 90 days, but you're going to build yourself a pipeline of a ton of people that are going to list with you in the future. So Hale Saladin, who was on the Top Listing Agent Show, he went from 3 transactions to over 100 transactions in 1 year. And that's exactly where we double down, is on expired listings. And the expired listings have come back. So you need to capture that business. So I want you to go all in. Even if you decide it's not expired, I'm telling you, it should be expired. Even whatever you decide it to be, I want you to go all in, double down, triple down, quadruple down, 10x down your efforts, your energy, your focus on one big lead generation system that will give you the most amount of deals, whatever that might be for you. I'm saying it should be expired.
Yeah, and guess what? Also, it's virtually free. I mean, what do you have to pay for? A dialer, maybe some marketing material, and your time. But it's not like you're shelling out crazy amounts of money to other, lead companies or aggregators or whatever the case may be. And for those of you guys that are listening to this podcast that may have gotten in the business in 2018 up until now, or 2020 up until now, you don't know anything about expired listings because we haven't had expired listings, right? But I can attest to what Chadi is saying, because that was my primary focus besides my sphere of influence when I went full time. And I don't remember off the top of my head, I'd have to pull the stat, but I want to say I took like easily 20 to 25 expired listings just over the span of like 12 to 18 months, because I got on the phone and I got in front of people. So the other point that I want to drive home is, yes, timeout.
Okay, that time out, I'm gonna pause you right there for a second, because I want to speak a little bit more about that, because we keep on referencing the next, opportunity, etc. Here's what I want to tell people is, like, don't wait for the next opportunity, because there's always going to be another opportunity, and there's an opportunity today that you're not capturing. There was one last year, and the year before, and the year before, and the year before. So stop waiting for things to show up. You show up and do the things that you need to do. And the reason I'm saying that is because you referenced that there was, a lot of people don't know what expireds are, because there has not been that many expireds. Same exact thing in our marketplace in 2021. How many expireds were popping up on the MLS? Maybe 1 or 2 a month.
Yeah,
Well,
not many. Yeah.
we creatively, with Marilu Buy Loan, what we did is we creatively said, hey, let's pull out all the expireds from the last 2 years and give them a call. And all she did was call them every single day and listed almost 1 a week. 41 expired listings in a marketplace that had almost no expireds.
Wow.
Never the opportunity, it's the person.
That's a powerful point. That is a powerful point. So guys, if you're not incorporating this into your business right now, it's time to do so. All right, I want to talk about Chadi Bazzi's day, right? And the thing that I love about you is not only are you always happy, you're in a great mood, life is beautiful, you're traveling a lot, right? But you're not working 60, 70 hours a week. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No,
Yeah.
definitely. I mean, I don't want to work 60, 70 hours a week. I've done that. Listen, let me tell you something. Here's what I want to say. I used to work from 11 a.m., okay, to either 1 a.m. or 2 a.m., 7 days a week, taking 2 days off a month. I paid my dues. I don't want to sit there and be the social media guy, which I barely ever showcase my lifestyle because I'm living it for me. I'm not living it for other people. What I'm trying to say is this: just because this is what I'm doing right now, this is the new chapter that I am living.
Yes.
I don't want you to look at me and say, I want to be like this guy. I want you to look at me and say, what the F did this guy do to get here? And go and do exactly what I did to get here. So for some of you guys, I want you to work 60 hours a week. I want you to work 70 hours a week. There's something called sacrifice. And if you take a look at any guru or anyone whose lifestyle you admire, why don't you next time don't ask them how did you make it, what worked? Ask them what is the sacrifice that you made that allowed you to get here. Because most of you watching this and listening to this, you ain't making the sacrifice. And that's exactly why you are going to become part of the statistic and pay the price and open up an opportunity for someone like me who's going to say, I paid the price. I'm ready for this. Let me go ahead and capture as much as I possibly can. Hopefully that was the answer to your question.
Yeah, so I just wrote that down because I also, as you know, but I sacrificed a lot in the beginning, right? I don't know for how long did I do the two job thing and the 40 hours a week here, the 30 or 35 or 40 there, and that was not easy. And I think that's a great point to drive home is the next generation I think that's coming up. If you ask questions like that about what did you sacrifice to get to where you are today, you get the cheat code, guys.
Yep.
And I am such a believer, right? Like, I'm not even 40 yet. I can say that for about another 3 months and 7 days, right? But I plugged in the cheat code and I put in the 10 years of work. I'm sorry, I put in the 20 years of work. I condensed that into about 7 to 10 years. And now, when I'm at Shadi's point, I'm going to be able to live, God willing, the life that he's living. So I think that that's a great point that people need to realize is like the 4 hour work week and all this other stuff. That's great and wonderful once you've arrived. But right now, it's time to put the work in because for the next 12 months, for the next 9 months, 18 months, whatever the case may be, you might have to overwork yourself a little bit, but don't forget trying to find some sense of balance. And don't forget, like you always tell me, the kid, the wife, don't forget about any of that stuff because if you don't have that, you don't have anything.
Yep.
So
Here's my
that's
order, right? My order is this. I am
please.
the most important person on the planet. I am the most important person on the planet to me. Okay. Now, here's another thing I know. To someone else, I am also the most important person to someone else. To my son, to my daughter. They think of me as the most important person in their life. That's a huge freaking damn responsibility.
That's a big responsibility.
Which simply means in order for me to become selfless with them, I have to be selfish with me. That means I have to work. My order of importance every single day is me. Because when I work on me, I can be better for them. And then
Yeah.
when I am perfect for me and perfect for them, then I am perfect for my clients.
This is resonating so much, right? And I have to give my wife a shout out where the shout out is due, right? So she knows the stresses, she knows the demands, she knows what's involved to build something like this, right? And so many times, I can feel that I think that she wants to say like, "Hey, do you have to go for that Saturday morning workout?" But she knows that like I need that as part of my warrior routine in order to continue to keep myself primed to perform at this level. And it's just such a blessing to have those kind of people around you. You just need to cherish them because that's what really helps you to level up and continue on. Because without that, without the strong morning routine, without the mindset training, without the coaching, right? I'd be a hot mess. So I need all that stuff, and I need the me time in order to perform at the level that, my agents, my team, my clients, all these people need me to perform at. So I think that that's an incredible statement. It's just profound. So I appreciate you for enlightening us with that.
Yeah.
I have another couple of questions here before we begin our wrap up, but a lot of people are wondering, where do I put the money now? Okay. So let's say that they're one of the lucky few that's got the money on the side, right? That has the 10 or 15,000 or 20,000 or whatever the case is. Where do you put the money to ensure that you get the return? The mind. The mind.
I would put that money in me, because here's the thing. And some of you guys got hundreds of thousands of dollars that you could put somewhere, okay? And maybe you're just sitting on that money and doing nothing with it because the mind is either afraid, or the mind is not strong enough. The mind can't take a risk, your emotions ain't right, etc. Look, the first place that anybody should put their money is in them, is in them. Hire a coach, get a mentor, get some more audiobooks, get some more books, get some more courses, etc. Build you up. And once you build yourself up, then here's the next thing that you do. You take that money and you invest it in a mentor that's going to help you put your money in the right place through their guidance. For example, some of you guys, you should be putting your money into real estate. But if you don't know anything about real estate investments, don't just rely on your real estate agent, because your real estate agent may not even be a home owner. And that person will, most likely cause you to make a mistake, etc. Hire a coach that can help you build an investment portfolio. Let me tell you a little story about that. Remember, my sister-in-law called me up one day and she said, "Hey, have you ever heard of this guy that I just saw on an infomercial?" Okay. He's saying that I could buy real estate using other people's money, and he's coming into town. Should I go, or is that going to be a waste of time? Now, I'm all about mentorship, and here's what I know. It's never the program. It's always the individual, because every single program has successful individuals. I said, look, they're going to try to sell you something over there. Okay. And don't buy it unless you're willing to go all in and do the work, and it will work for you. She goes there. I thought they're going to sell her like a $200-300 book. And, they ended up selling her into a $10,000 program that she slapped on a freaking damn credit card. Guess what? She is a full-time real estate investor, buying, flipping, building, developing, you name it, Airbnb properties, lifestyle and everything. Would she have been able to do it without a mentor? No. So the first mentor that you get is for you. Second mentor is for your business, or one mentor for you and your business, and then another mentor for your empire. So before you invest in the thing, invest in this thing.
And that's what I also realize, especially like from the outside looking in now, is the people that I think that I see struggling, or I know that are struggling for a fact, it's because they've kept themselves in this bubble and they're not surrounding themselves with winners and people that are achieving at such a high level.
Yeah.
Like you can recall when I went out to that conference, I think in August in California, right? And just around a whole different group of earners and people that are doing big acquisitions and tons of flips and wholesales. And it's just like your mind expands. And for a person like me, I feel like I need that, I need that kind of stuff like every quarter to continue to keep my fire lit. So,
Yep.
I think that one of the sins of the real estate industry is just the fact that it's so entrepreneurial. It's almost too entrepreneurial, right? I came from the corporate background and I had to do things. There was no choice. But for some reason, many in this industry don't realize there should be some continuing education or conferences or mentorship or things of that nature. So I think that's a great point to drive home.
That's a great point. I know exactly all the guys that you're talking about. I'm going to tell you the process I just walked you through, every single one of them, because I remember those guys from 25 years ago. The first investment they made was in themselves and their business. And now, People are investing in them.
Yeah, and I want to give you another shout out as we get to the last couple of questions, but you've personally also coached me with this too, is about holding on too much, right? Feeling like you need to hold on to this much money or you can't release it. And then we talked about what happens when you don't release that out into the universe and the stuff that you're putting out there. So for anybody that's listening that's in that position, especially if you know that you have the liquidity to be able to do this, it's time to release and it's time to let go because that's where the true growth is going to come from.
Yeah, because
Um,
when you're holding on to it, what you're practicing is fear. You're practicing fear. Therefore, what do they say? Scared money don't make no money.
yes, yes, you're absolutely right.
Let go.
All right, one more. Just I love to know people's morning routines, right? And maybe your morning routine is a little bit different than it was back when you showed up at Mike Ferry and Tom Ferry. But right now, how do you tell people, or how would you coach people to kick off their morning to prime their mind and get their body ready for success?
Yeah, so I'm gonna tell you exactly what I do now, and I don't want to put anybody in a box. I don't want you to do what I do. I want you to do what works for you, and you got to experiment with this. Like there's some people that say you got to do this 2 hour morning routine every single day. God bless them that that's their routine and that's what works for them. That might not work for you, and if you can't do it, you're gonna start feeling guilty, and you're gonna start like resenting then you're going to go into resistance mode. Then you're going to start thinking that you're a failure, etc. I'm going to say the single most important thing that you need to do to win the day every single day is to try to beat the alarm clock. Beat the alarm clock. My alarm clock says 4:44. If you follow me on Instagram, you see me posting at 4:41 or 4:42 or 4:43 because I'm competing with the alarm clock because I got to be better than the alarm clock. I cannot be the guy that depends on the alarm clock. So that's my first victory every single day. So if you don't have to get up that early, I'm not going to make you wrong for it. I know people who wake up 7 or 8 a.m. and still make $100,000 or more every single month. It's all about the discipline. So your morning routine, if I were coaching you, I'm not gonna tell you to wake up as early as I get up, but I want you to wake up at the same time every single day until you earn the right to not have to anymore financially, whatever that time is for you. Then you gotta put yourself through a routine every single morning to get that going. I wake up, brush my teeth, use the restroom, etc., straight to working out. Straight to working out. That might not work for you. Maybe you need a cup of coffee. If you're gonna have a cup of coffee, sit down and read or listen to something positive or watch a positive video. So for me, it's workout. As soon as I'm done working out, I go into the other room and I do my breath work. As soon as I'm done doing my breath work, I do my journaling. As soon as I'm done doing my journaling, I get my cup of coffee and then I read and then I go shower, get ready, etc. It wasn't always like this. I played around with it to where I'd wake up in the morning and do, like journaling first. And sometimes I'd wake up and do reading first. This is the flow that works for me. Just make sure you're doing something for your mind and you're doing something for your body and you're doing something for your spirit, which I didn't talk about here because we're not going to make this a spiritual show. I pray every single morning. That's part of my morning routine. And that's what works for me. Now, across the country, you take a look at any top producing agent, they all have something that's similar to what I just shared with you guys. And I would add, make sure journaling is something that is a must do for every single
Yeah,
person.
journaling and also I mean, I think everything, but I can also specifically recall when I was going through a rough patch after I had went full time and I lost, I don't know, God knows how many deals in like a span of 10 days. I was like, oh my God, like, what am I going to do? And you told me just stop and just start to read 10 pages of a book every day. And again, it's like when you told me about the journaling, I'm like, what is he talking about? Like, what is that going to do for me? And that just helped to give you such more clarity and intention about your day. And everything just keeps flowing. It just
Yeah.
keeps going. So,
Yeah. Let me recommend a book. And this is going to be the first time I recommend this book publicly. And I've never recommended it on any of the shows or my podcast or anything like that. A book called, that's relevant to the conversation that you and I had a little bit earlier. And the book's called Be Your Future Self Now. That is the book that everyone perfect timing for them to read that right now, because a lot of people are uncertain about the future, and this is going to give them the certainty and the confidence.
Awesome. All right, so we're going to wrap up. Before we do, though, I want to make sure we show some love to you. So, how can people find you? How can they learn more about your movement and what you're doing, and reach out and connect?
Yeah, I think anywhere on social media, where I'd say the best place is either Facebook, Instagram, or simply YouTube is a place that we're pumping out a lot of nice content for them. Anywhere, Chadi Bazzi, ChadiBazzi.com.
All right. I appreciate it, brother. Well, thank you so much for the time today. I greatly, greatly appreciate it, and just really love spending time together, man. So thank you.
Thank you, brother.